So in this section, we're going to study some arithmetic sequences and how to find the sequence when you're given some information about it. In this first problem, the directions are find T20, or the 20th term, when you have the second term and the fifth term. In most of the problems with arithmetic sequence, it's really good practice to use the general formula to find the formula for the sequence rather than just guess and check or look for patterns. So I'm going to look for use of the formula when you solve problems for me, especially on a test. So make sure you can use a formula. If you have other ways to get an answer, that's good. It's a good way to check, but use a formula. So using the formula with this, t sub 2, notice I'm placing the 2 in for the n, equals t sub 1 plus 2 minus 1 d. Simplifying this a little bit, oh, wait a minute. I also know that t2 equals 13, so let's put equals 13. But we will simplify it. I'm going to write t1 plus d equals 13. What happens is I'm going to end up with a system to solve. All right, let's do the next one. T sub 5 equals, again, following the general formula, t1 plus, you know what I put in here? 5 minus 1 d, that equals 22. Simplify this a little bit. I get t1 plus 4d equals 22. Now at this point you have two choices to solve. You could use substitution, which means solve one of these for t1 or d and substitute it into the other, or you could solve the system by adding and subtracting. I choose adding and subtracting. Sometimes it's a little nicer. So let's draw a line here. If I add these, nothing interesting happens. I get 2t1, 5d, and some number over there. But if I were to subtract the top one from the bottom one, do you see what nice stuff happens? 3d, the t1s cancel out. And what's 22 take away 13? I think that's 9. Solve for d. So d equals 3. Now that I have d, I can go back into either equation and find t1. I'll choose the first equation again. t1 plus d, so d is 3, equals 13. Subtract 3 from both sides, t1 equals 10. So now I can write the general formula for tn. tn equals, I know t1 this time, it's 10, plus I know d this time, n minus 1 times d. So the general formula becomes tn equals 10 plus 3n minus 3. General formula is tn equals, what's 10 minus 3? 7 plus 3n. Now this general formula can be used to find any term in this sequence. So here is the question, find t20. So just plug it in. t20 equals 7 plus 3 times 20, which is 67. All right, this next problem's quite a bit harder. How many multiples of 6 are there between 100 and 1,000? So, first of all, we know we want to use the formula for the arithmetic sequence, but what does that sequence look like? So what I need to do is get out my calculator or a pen and pencil and figure out what is the first number greater than 100 that's divisible by 6. So I try 100 just to make sure that doesn't work, and keep on trying, and finally I find that 108 is divisible by 6. Now to get the next one, I can just add 6 to that, and I know that it's 114, and I could keep on adding 6, right? 120, all the way to 1,000. That's going to take a while. We don't want to do that. I wonder what the last number in this sequence is before I hit 1,000. So first of all, I check 1,000. Does 6 go into 1,000? It does not. So then try 999, 998, 996. Works. So now that I have the sequence, I can go ahead and use the formula. So where do I start using the formula? Well, what do I know? I know T1 is 108. Do I know what the D is? What do I add to get to the next term? If you remember, it was 6. Okay. Now, I need to find how many terms, or I need to find the n in this formula. Well, let's take this formula and set it equal to the last term. So, I want to take the formula with the numbers that I know in it. So I want to take 108, which is T1, plus n minus 1 times 6 equals, and what does it equal? 996. If I solve this for n, I can figure out how many terms in that sequence. Let's go to work here. 108 plus 6n minus 6 equals 996. All right, let's subtract 6 here, so I get 102 plus 6n equals 996. Subtract 102. That's easy. So 6n equals 894. So all we have to do is divide by 6. So pick up the trusty calculator. 894 divided by 6. 894 divided by 6. 149. So that means, how many terms are there from 108 to 996? There are 149 terms. Sure would have taken a long time if I wrote them out and counted them. Don't want to do that. There we go.